In my last video, I had explained how I created some embellishments and chose some sketches to create these layouts. So I'm going to start on one of those today, and I am using a sketch from Erin over at Crafty Concepts with Erin. So when you're short on time, there's another helpful tip for you. Find a sketch. So thank you, Erin, for making this layout come together so quickly for me. I already gutted my paper out. I'm not going to, it's going to be a frame style, so I'm not going to waste the paper here. This is shortbread from Close to My Heart, so no longer available. And then I have some basic white here from Stampin' Up, and I did ink around the edges with some mocha. I'm wanting to bring in the Country Woods papers, and these are cut down to the measurements according to the sketch. So I'm trying to decide if I want the white at the top or at the bottom. And these are from the same piece of paper, but it's kind of a wash look. They actually go together like that. So maybe I'll leave it like this and have the white at the top. Or do I want the white at the bottom? Nope, I think I am going to do the bottom. So maybe I'll rotate these so they kind of look like they piece together more. Okay, so those are going to go there. And then these are also from the Country Woods. And these are going to sit like so. I did cut a mocha photo mat, so that's a Close to My Heart color, and that is going to sit right in here, and then I will start bringing in my photos. So I'm going to get all of this tacked down. I did ink around all of the edges with mocha ink as well, just to make those stand off. And if you're not familiar with the Stampin' Up! Country Woods, it is a phenomenal pack with different shades of wood, chipped wood, like the painted kind of look, and they go with everything. You can mix and match those beautifully. So that's the Country Woods. I cut a second photo mat here for my 4x6. And then I cut these photo mats. These are 2 3/4. And there's a little nose here that you probably can't see, but it's thundering outside, so my Dane is here and ready to not protect me, get protection. So these are gonna go right down here, and then same with those, and then these are 4x4 photo mats. I have all my photo mats down, so I am going to start bringing in my photos. This one here is of my husband at an antique shop. We went to a bunch of antique shops in one day, like in the surrounding area, and he was looking for these planes. Of course, we like to look around at everything in there, but particularly the planes. And he started collecting them and refinishing them, fixing them up, and using them. So here's him using one that he's already sharpened and fixed up. Here he was oiling the handle that he had removed and refinished. So here is like the before and the after. Isn't that so cool? So he's been fixing up these old tools. And it's kind of fun. So he bought it for, $20 maybe. And because of how old it was and the brand, and since he sharpened it and everything, it's worth like 5 times what he paid for it now. It's pretty cool. He's not wanting to sell it. He is using them. So he's been really into woodworking lately, and so he has a whole collection now. He has, I don't know, 15 of them. And yeah, he's been using them on his projects. So very fun. All All right, my photos are down. Now let's start embellishing. My title is supposed to go here, and I'm not sure what I want to do for a title yet. I might move it up here if I need more room, but Erin shows a embellishment cluster down here, up here, and then kind of building out in this area. Ooh, that thunder. So from my stash, I grabbed these little toolboxes and I cut them in both, or I stamped them in both mocha and in toffee, which is like a darker shade of shortbread. I wasn't sure which one would look best, but I almost like the mocha, maybe. And then I did when, where, what on this one. I thought I could do a little bit of journaling there. She has some tags that I could add journaling to. Otherwise, I might do some strip journaling down in this area. So maybe this would be kind of a good, like, do a cluster over here, and then I could do my journaling under that. So let's bring this one back in then and see if that looks better. I'm not sure. And then I just cut a bunch of tools, and I might actually want to color these in, but I realize they're not planes like what he's working on here, but he is in the garage where all his tools are, so they kind of go. And then I have this DIY that could kind of go down here, or maybe over in this area of him actually working on them. And then I have that shop local, so maybe that could be a fun little tag that pokes out of there. I also have like a little shopping bag. Not sure what I'm thinking with those. I had cut out some doilies because of the antique shop and just that kind of feel. So I might add, I don't know though, the doilies are a little more feminine with all the garage and tool. So I'm not sure that I want to bring in the doilies, even though doilies remind me of antique shops and vice versa. So I'm not sure that I want to bring those, and I don't really want to feminize the layout. So let me see what else I have in my stash that I could embellish with, or maybe bring in more tags. I could have some tags sticking up from here. Let me go see what I can come up with. I laid down my embellishments. I'm not quite sure if I'm in love with this, but we're gonna leave it there for now. And I'm gonna work on my title. So it is, hold please. My husband's working in the garage and interrupting my recording here. So my title is, that wasn't good. My glue just squirted. My title is Restored and Reclaimed. And then I thought of adding like a little subtitle or more of a title to that, but I'm not quite sure if I want to add that down here or leave it off. I don't necessarily need that subtitle, but, or I could use it on another layout because I know we're gonna have a lot more of him doing these projects. I saw a title using ChatGPT that Vintage Tools, Modern Hands, but I don't have enough letters or paper. This is like the last of this shade of gray, which matches some of my stamping. So I scratched that idea and I'm just gonna do Vintage Tools. So then this little subtitle says DIY Vintage Tools. And then maybe in the journaling, I can add Modern Hands or Vintage Tools, Young Hands. I don't know. Or maybe that's just not meant to be on this layout. We'll see. Whoa, my God, you scared me.
Sorry.
I am going to call this layout complete. Thank you, Erin, for this sketch. It made this layout come together so quick. I'm gonna add my journaling here, and it's another one for the books. Everything I used is linked in the description box below. Stay tuned to watch the other layouts come together that I spoke of in my last video. If you missed my last video, go check that one out. And until next time, live a life worth scrapping. Bye, guys.